guys, so welcome back to my channel. I cannot wait to go ahead and dive in today with you guys. I have my notes, y'all, so that means that I have a lot to say today, but we're going to try to go ahead and condense as much as we possibly can in a few minutes that we have together. But I am so happy that you guys are here and joining me today. When we're actually going to talk about when you are coming out of depression, how do you continue to make sure that you don't go back into depression? So let's go ahead and get right into it. So, we're talking about how to not get tired of progressing. And I love this because I stole a little bit of it. I tell you right now, I had to steal a little bit of this from a pastor, Pastor Stephen Furtick, because he was talking about progression and how we should not get tired. And I was like, yes, that is perfect. That is exactly what I want to tell people, to make sure that they don't get tired of progressing, of moving forward after depression, because it's very hard, it's difficult. It's like, where do you go from there? It's like, how do you get back to your old self? It's kind of like this pandemic, right? We were in it for 2 years and we're slowly but surely trying to get out of it if we stay the course of doing things right. But if you think about the pandemic, when we were truly in the nitty gritty of it, when it was really bad, and coming out of it in a way that we are now, it's just like, okay, how do we go back to normal? Or is it really normal that we go back to? Do we have to kind of recreate? Do we have to do things differently? How do we evolve? How do we go from here? And all of those different questions come up in the same way with depression. You know, where do you go from here? I know with me, my thing was, here I am. I've gone through depression. I used to be like hardcore on social media, building my platform. And I'm still doing that, but I'm kind of like behind the scenes in a way, instead of in front of the camera a lot of times. Aside from this, on Instagram, I'm not really on there like I want to be. Every time that I want to post something, or I want to post something post a pic, or I want to post something on my stories, I post something, but I'm not really active the way that I want to. And it's just like, how do you get that momentum going again? How do you get back out there the way that you once were? How do you get back to the position of making something consistent instead of dying off or falling off because you feel like you don't have enough energy? You feel like you just don't want to go through all of the entire process that you had to go through when you initially started. And those are the questions I had. That's something that I'm still going through, that I'm still battling, and it's okay. The thing is, like, when I was going through depression and I felt like I was in a place where I was finally out of it, I felt like I wanted to go back. I was trying to force myself to rush back into social media and get back on my platform and continue to build it, right? But as I wanted to do that more, I felt like I was hesitant in doing so. I felt like I needed to take some more time instead of trying to rush back, because there was a part of me that I really needed to work on. And I didn't really understand it. I really didn't understand why I had to do it, what was going on behind the scenes, behind everything that I was. Because, look, we really don't like to admit it. And sometimes we don't understand it. Sometimes we don't know. But what I feel is that we get so good and so used to hiding from other people that we eventually hide from ourselves. And we get to that point where we're like, now we're trying to move forward as a distraction, but then we don't know how to actually get back on track. We don't really know how to actually move forward in the way that we need to get back out there, to get the ball rolling again. And I had to calm myself down and tell myself that it's okay, that I don't have to rush and try to hurry up and do things. I have time, because we feel like we don't ever have time on our side, especially with today's time, where everyone is trying to hurry up and get themselves out there, get their product, get their business going and out there and booming in a minute, in a second, from day to night, right? That is going to happen really overnight, an overnight success, when that is further from the truth. That is something that never happens, because a lot of people don't see because when people make it somewhere, they don't actually see the process behind of what's actually going on behind the scenes. You only see the picture that is displayed in front of you. So I say all of that to really go in and tie into the title for today. Don't get tired of progressing. And I say that because there's going to be a time where you want to stop. You feel like you've already made it to your destination of where you feel comfortable, where you feel like, okay, I'm good. I can go ahead and get off of this ride. Let me off at this station. I'm good now. And I thought that as well. I thought, because I'm done with depression, I don't have to read devotionals on the Bible app about depression anymore. I don't have to pray and ask God to help me through what I'm going through, because I've gotten out of depression. He helped me, good enough. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm good. I don't need help with that anymore. And that's a lot of times what we think. We think, okay, we've made it to a set place in our lives, in our situation, and we are over that hump of where we used to be, where it was bad and now it's okay, right? It used to be bad, but now it's just okay. But we can get even better if we keep progressing, if we keep going forward. But we're just like at okay, where we feel like we don't need anyone's help anymore. We're good at doing it ourselves. And it's just, it took me some time where I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to leave it alone. I wanted to let it go, because I said, I'm good. I'm good. I got this under control now. I'm good. But the hard truth and the real reality of it is, you're not done. The battle is not over. That's only half won. But the rest of it comes where you continue. You got to continue to put in the work to make sure that you don't go back. Because when it's only okay, when you've made it out of the darkness, but you've gotten to a place where it's okay, it's very easy for you to go back to that dark place. And I know that you don't want to be there, But at the same time, in order for you to make sure that you don't go back to that place, you have to make sure that you are willing to put forth the effort and the work to not go back to that place. You got to keep progressing. You can't get tired of progressing. And I say that we get tired because we do. When we get to a point of, okay, we're good, it takes more effort, more willpower to keep moving forward than it does to say, okay, I'm good. I don't need any more help. I'm good. I've gotten to a stable place. But are you really stable? Or are you just operating in the middle of your situation that still lingers, still has the possibility of coming into your life once again? Or do you want to take that time and opportunity to put in extra effort, extra work, and continue to progress to the point where you are able to change your life in its entirety, and you can put depression behind you in its entirety and don't ever have to worry about that ever again? Because at the end of it all, the decision is still up to you. Today I want to go ahead and bring a few points up that I feel that are very relevant and perfect for this topic that we're talking on today. First, take one step at a time and take it day by day. The thing is that we want to rush because a lot of times we feel FOMO, fear of missing out. We have a lot of that. We feel like we're going to miss out on something if we stay behind. We feel like we're behind if we see another person that's ahead of us. But we don't ever pay attention to running our own race. The only time that you get tripped up, the only time that you're not able to move forward is when you're trying to run someone else's race, or when you're looking at how much greener it is on the other side, when you haven't even taken the opportunity to manage and water your own grass. You progress in not a day, not a week, not an hour, not a month, not 2 months, not even a year. Progression takes time, but the only way that you're able to progress, the only way that you're able to move forward is by your efforts. You have to put in the work. You have to have the willpower to move forward. You got to have the want, the need to move forward. What are you wanting to move forward and do? What do you feel as though depression has deprived you of? Think about that. What do you feel that depression has deprived you of? Is it happiness? Is it joy? Is it peace? Is it comfort? Is it the ability to start a business, start a podcast, go out with friends, build a relationship, have a relationship, support your family or your kids? What has depression deprived you of that you want to get back? Think about that. Take that step forward to make sure that it never deprives you again. It takes work to move through. You cannot do this. We cannot do this on our own. I told you guys this before, and I'll tell you again. The way that I do it and the way that I was able to move forward is through God, my Heavenly Father. I would not have been able to do it without Him, because He is my backbone. He is my everything. And He has helped me through so many different things in my life, and He's never failed me. He's never disappointed me. He's always been there for me every step of the way, and He wants to be there for you as well. There's not going to be people who you can rely on that's going to be there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that you can always call on. Because truthfully, when you feel like you can go to a person, a designated person that you feel is going to be there, or has even told you, hey, if you need anything, let me know. You need an ear to talk to, I can lend my ear. I can be there for you. I can talk to you. But then there gets a point to where you go a little bit too far, where you have you've overstayed your welcome. And now it's like, okay, you've talked to me too long. What are you going to do differently? They want to know, are you going to stay in this same position, or are you going to actually move forward? You talk about it, you get to that point where now you have someone that you can, in your mind, depend on. You can talk to them about everything. You can vent to them about your situation. But then there comes that thin line, that fine line, where you overstep, where it's just like I said earlier, you overstay your welcome. You're doing the same things over and over again with no results. And that's how they look at things. That's how they feel. Now, you may say, no, you're wrong. But a lot of times, think about it. It's not something that someone is going to automatically tell you to your face a lot of the times. It's something that they feel, but they don't want to tell you to your face because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They want you to be able to express yourself. They want you to know that you can come to them about your situations, that you can vent to them and know that you have a safe place with them. You have a safe space. You have that ear to talk to. You have someone that is going to listen. But let's take it a step further. And I say this because we have friends that can do that. But not all of us have that. So it's like, where can we go next? What's the next step to get from the place where we once were to now pivot and put ourselves in a position where we can progress? And so that's why I talk to you guys about God, and I tell you guys how He has helped me through my situation. Because how I was before, I wouldn't be able to talk to you guys about my situation. I wouldn't be able to let you guys into my life, into my real, raw, authentic, vulnerable life. The behind the scenes of everything that's going on. See, we can put a good picture out there. We can put a good face out there. But what's happening inside? What's happening behind the scenes? What's really going on in that person's house, in that person's mind? And God placed this on my heart for me to be able to speak to you guys about it. To show you guys what it's really like. What's really going on behind the scenes. How depression really works in the everyday life. But how you can go from depression into progression and move forward in a more positive way. Let's go ahead and get to some more points. Contain yourself of what you may think. Just listen to the entire thing of what I have to say with this part. But depression has a way of changing us for the better. And you're probably like, what? Didn't you just say a couple of weeks ago that depression is depressing? So how is it making it better? Isn't it like a black hole, a black space that you can't get out of? You feel like you're locked up. You feel like you have nowhere to go. So what is it? How is it better? Well, open your mind, your ears, and relax, and just allow me to talk to you guys about this. And I know that you'll agree after. So, depression is better. It gets better in a way where it changes us from being who we used to be to now becoming who we are supposed to be, who we need to be. See, we start out in a negative mindset. We start out on a negative foot. We start out in negative thinking with naysayers, all of those darts coming at us, all of those flaming arrows coming at us. And we don't put up a blocking system. We don't put up anything to guard ourselves. So when that happens, it sticks. We're attacked. And we don't know how to defend ourselves. And so now we have these different arrows of different things that are attached to us and that we take and make it our own, and we make it a part of us and who we are, when in reality that's completely opposite of who we are and who we're supposed to be. We shouldn't think those things. We shouldn't think that way of ourselves. We shouldn't carry ourselves in that manner. Our behavior should be so much better. But the thing about depression is that if you're really serious and really want to, and I know you do, really want to get out of defeat, feeling defeated, feeling like you have nothing left, that you have given it your all, that all of your energy has gone down, has been drained because of depression, and you don't have any energy left. Let me tell you, yes, you do. You have a lot more. But it's all about what's up here. It all starts up here. You have to control your mind and what you feed it, what you put into your mind. When you pivot, when you change your depression to progression and moving forward in the opposite direction, moving to have a better day, a better life. Go after what you set out to do, what you once wanted to do, but depression got in the way and it set you back. Now you have this opportunity to get out of it and do something different, to change your direction, change the narrative, rewrite the story. Don't allow depression to be the period at the end of the sentence of your life. Allow it to be that comma, that yes, this did happen, but here's what's happening now. This is what I'm doing now in my life. So you should change your attitude. It changes your attitude. It changes your behavior. It changes the way you walk. It changes your confidence. And I'm talking about all positivity. It changes your mood. It changes your reaction to things. It changes how you look at things, the way you think. And I'm gonna be very frank with you. It has definitely changed mine. It's been very hard. And anything is hard when you allow it to linger and you don't want to put forth the effort. It's all about taking it one day at a time, putting forth the effort, and allowing it to definitely just work in your life. You have to put one foot in front of the other. That's how you walk, right? You don't walk with both feet at the same time. You take one step at a time. And once you put one foot in front of the other, you begin to actually go somewhere. You don't stay in the same position once you begin to walk, right? So this is the same thing. Change all of those negative aspects, or all of what depression has broken or has taken away from you, and change it into something positive. And I'll give you an example. With me, things that I had to do, because mine was, of course, all of it comes inward. So what I had to do was change my mindset and how I talk to myself. I had to give myself a pep talk. And I talked to you guys about this before. If you have not seen that session, go ahead and go back and watch it. Please do, because it's amazing. But I talked about having a pep talk with yourself, because it's important. Because nobody is going to have the best pep talk for you like you have for yourself. You got to get used to being your own cheerleader. You got to get used to being there for yourself, because a lot of times people want other people to be there for them. When they feel like that space is just open, it needs to be filled with people. It needs to be filled with praise that gives them that positive reinforcement to go ahead and keep moving forward. But what do you do when you don't have that? What do you do when there's no one around? What are you going to do then? Are you going to just sit there and wait for someone to come around and call you, to text you, to send you a card, come by the house? What are you going to do? Are you going to wait, or are you going to say, it ends today, and I'm going to make sure that I give myself that pep talk, that I give myself what I need in order to be able to move forward, to propel forward in the right direction? It all starts with you and the decision that you make to move in the direction that you want to go. So it's all about the pep talk. It's all about talking to yourself. And that's exactly what I had to do. I had to talk to myself about what I was going through, how I was feeling. And I said, something needs to change. I need to start talking to myself a little bit differently. I would always get down on myself. Nobody else had to do it for me. So what I had to do was change my mindset. I had to change the way I talk to myself. And instead of calling myself names, I had to say, girl, you got this. You did good. You did amazing. I am so proud of you. I love you. I appreciate you. If you just say that over and over again to yourself, go ahead, try it. Try it out. Write it out if you need to. And just allow yourself to receive all of that. And guess what? Your mood has already changed. Your attitude is much brighter. You get to lift your head up higher. You feel different, don't you? You have that sense of confidence. You feel so much better. That's what it's all about. That's how you break depression. You break that bind of depression that's had a hold on you for so long. It starts with you and the changes that you want to make, that you want to see. What you're doing in this entire process is that you're ultimately taking into consideration your life and how you want to live, while also looking at how you used to live and how you don't want to live like that anymore. And what I mean by that is that when you begin to talk to yourself, take that time and that step-by-step process of talking to yourself in a more positive way, thinking positive thoughts about yourself and about your situation. And even if you made mistakes, that's okay, because I also told you guys that I have an issue with perfectionism. I have to let myself know that it's okay that I make mistakes. As long as I did my best, then I'm good. Then I feel like I have accomplished everything. When you change positivity around yourself, or within yourself, I should say, then you change the positiveness around yourself. So, say for instance, you're at work. Instead of thinking about a Monday as a day that is so dreadful, so gloomy, because it's the start of the work week, and it is like everything goes wrong on a Monday. Instead of thinking that way, why don't you flip the script? Why don't you change it? Turn it on its head and think positive thoughts and say, no, today is going to be a great day. This is just another day. This is going to be an amazing day. Lord, I pray that you bless me to have another day, another great day. We're going to have a great day at work. Everything is going to go great. If I have any challenges that may come my way, then I'll know how to take care of them. I know how to react to it before it even happens. What you're doing is you're preparing yourself for the day. You don't wait until something happens. Don't do that. Don't wait until something happens, but get yourself prepared for the day before it even happens. Prepare your mind, because now you're in battle. You're ready. You have what you need in order to take on the day. You're not going in blind. You already know what to expect. You already have your armor. You already have the tools that you need in order to combat the depression, the negativity, the negative thoughts, the negative people that may be around you. You already know what to do in that situation. So now you're going in with positivity as your guard, as your defense. So anything that comes your way, you say, nope, this is going to be completely fine. I know that when I was at work, I think a couple of days ago, I was telling a coworker, I was like, he was asking me, so how is everything going with my workload? And I was like, everything is going great. I said, but I got this, thing that I'm working on and everything. And I'm just like, he says, but you're always positive. I was like, you're right. And that reminded me, because he's right. I am always positive. I always write positive affirmations on my board, on my whiteboard that I have behind me, to keep me positive, to keep me uplifted. And also the people that are on my team and everybody that comes past my desk can always see it on behind me on my whiteboard. The positive note that is shown, so that they can go ahead and read it and get a little positivity for themselves. So when he said that, I was like, you're right. I am positive. And even though this is, I've been dealt this card, I'm going to take it with positivity. And you know what? Everything is going to be okay. Even though I have this much that I need to take care of, that's okay, because I'm going to just go ahead and knock it out. And that's exactly what I did. And so usually with this specific task that I have to do, I usually put on some headphones and listen to a podcast or listen to music to go ahead and pass the time while I'm doing it, because it's very tedious. But this time, I just went ahead and knocked it out. I basically talked to myself in my mind, and you may think that that's kind of crazy, but at the same time, you do have to talk to yourself. Like I said, you do have to give yourself a pep talk, right? So how do you do that? You talk to yourself. You let yourself know that, hey, everything is going to be okay. You got this. Just give yourself positivity the entire time. And every single time that I was talking to myself, giving myself positivity, I was taking myself out of the situation and just being surrounded by that positivity that I was engrossed in, if that's a good word to use, that I was so surrounded by. And before you know it, I was done with the task. I was like, whew. And guess what? I finished right before I needed to go to lunch. And I was just so happy because I was like, Lord, I know that you're going to help me. I know that I'm going to get done with this. You know, instead of thinking negative thoughts and saying, oh, I'm not going to finish. This is so much. I'm going to be doing this for such and such hours. But no, I said, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this amount at this time, and then this amount at this time, and I'm going to be done with it before lunch. I'm going to be done with it before lunch. And every time that I kept saying that over and over again, that positive affirmation to let myself know, that positive goal that I gave myself, it became reality. And a lot of times people, this is not part of my notes, but I want to say it because it's on my heart. A lot of times people feel as though they can't make it to the next step because they have this obstacle that is in front of them. But the only reason that you have that obstacle in front of you and the way that you're looking at the obstacle is in a negative mindset. And if you look at the obstacle in a negative mindset, then it's just going to be a huge obstacle that you can't overcome, that you can't overtake. But let me tell you that you can overcome that obstacle. It's not going to be something that is something that you can't take care of, that you can't tackle. If it was an obstacle that you weren't able to tackle, it wouldn't be an obstacle for you. But you're always equipped for the obstacle. God always gives you what you need for that specific obstacle that comes your way. So when that obstacle does come your way, you're not blindsided, you're prepared. And it may seem like when it actually comes up that you're not prepared, but you have actually gone through this before and you just don't know it. You have already the tools needed to be able to take down that obstacle. You just got to lay them all out. You gotta look back and say, yeah, this is what I have. Step back from the situation and analyze it. A lot of times we want to go ahead first and don't step back and actually analyze the situation before we take it on, so that we can look at the tools that we have in front of us and say, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to tackle it. Because that's part of us being able to progress, being able to move forward in the right direction, being able to take one step at a time, being able to make it to our goals. You know your triggers. And you know if a button is pushed or a name is called and you allow it to take root, it will take you back to that dark place. This is something that I was thinking about because I'm like, you know, that's so true. That if you take an opportunity, if you look at something and you automatically think negatively about that situation, that's like you sowing a seed and allowing that seed to grow and allowing yourself to slowly but surely get dragged right back into depression. But instead of that, if that happens, because guess what, we're human, it does happen, where we like drop a negative seed on the ground. Instead of that, go ahead and pick it up right away and say, oh no, let's turn that negative seed into a positive seed and allow that to grow instead into a beautiful tree, into a beautiful flower. Allow that to grow. Allow that to take root. So yeah, just like I had a negative thought that was trying to come and attack me at work, someone who I spend a lot of time with at work, my coworker that's a part of my team, he said, but you're positive. And I was like, you're right, I am positive. And because of him saying that, that changed everything for me. And I wiped away the negativity, didn't think of it again. And when we constantly practice being positive to ourselves, being positive about our situations, it flows on out onto other people, and then we're positive to other people. And that's what I mean, going back to how depression, it changes you for the better, because when you're on the road to being more positive inwardly, it spills out outwardly onto other things, other situations, other people. And then you change your entire outlook on life. You're not the mean, bitter person that you once were. Because guess what? When you're trying to be positive about your situation, you can't be positive in one place in your life and everything else is negative. No. And think that you're going to progress in the way that you want to. It doesn't work like that. You have to change every part of your life. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I realized in my life, is that my relationship with my mom, it used to be where, and sorry this is long, y'all, I promise I'm getting ready to wrap up, but I used to be, me and my mom, we had a good relationship. We still do. But back in the day, it was so bad that we were only able to stand each other for a couple of hours, and we knew the cutoff. After that, those couple of hours, we couldn't be next to each other, because it was just like alpha and alpha, right? It was just like attack. We just, the negative energy just fed off of each other and just made the situation worse, to the point where she's yelling, I'm yelling, she wants to be right, I want to be right. It's just an attack. And I was just like, first of all, if I'm going to have, especially after this depression that I've gone through, I was just like, Lord, I want to take this opportunity to be better in my life, of making sure that I am a better person all around, where I'm better to myself, I'm better to my family, I'm better to my mom, that we have a better relationship. And because of me taking that opportunity, not just praying about it, praying for it, but actually putting it into action. Because a lot of times it goes, even if you're not a praying person, it's just a part of life. If you want something to happen, you have to put in the work to make it happen. I prayed about it, and the reason why it's taking root in the more positive direction, and our relationship is even better. And I don't have to be right. I can care less about being right. I don't have to always have the last word. I can care less about that. I want to have a better relationship with my mother, and that's exactly what I strive for, and that's what I am striding, towards. And it's something that gets better each and every day. Yeah, I still have my downfalls with it, when I still want to say stuff here and there. But I have to remind myself that you didn't come this far to go backwards. So change that before it comes out. You begin to think about what you want to say. You begin to think about everything before it actually comes out, before you actually take an action on it. So, yeah, if you want anything to happen, if you want anything to get better, you got to put in the effort to get there. It's not just going to happen by coincidence. It's not just going to happen while you just sit there and just continue to do, because you can't just sit there. You are going by, day by day by day, doing something, inactivity, whatever it may be. Activity, just walking around, flicking the remote with, on to different channels. You're doing some type of activity, right? And you come in contact with people each and every day, regardless if you feel you don't or not. Someone is calling you. Somebody, a neighbor comes by your house and says hi. What is your reaction going to be? Are you going to say hi, or are you going to ignore them because you just are in a rut right now? So it's about taking that next step of what you want to do. How do you want to be the difference? How do you want to be that change maker for yourself? And I'll leave you with this. Change the way you see yourself, and everything else will fall into place. I hope you guys really appreciated this session. I know I did. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys next week. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Let's have a conversation if you want this to go longer. I cannot wait to talk to you guys very soon. Until then, bye.